Kickity Sura, and welcome back to Spyro the Dragon! Now, just a little heads up, I'm sure you guys might be wondering why my enthusiasm with this game. Now, let me be clear. Spyro the Dragon, the original series, as in the ones created by Insomniac Games, which if you didn't see in the first part, they're the ones who developed this thing. They're basically the guys who created Spyro in the first place. And in terms of those kind of games, I always considered the original Spyro trilogy and Spyro's franchise in general to be like PlayStation's version of The Legend of Zelda, whereas many people can consider Crash Bandicoot to be the PlayStation's version of, say, Mario or Sonic, which is kind of a no-brainer, as they're both 3D platformers. Crash and Spyro are 3D platformers when they began, and they kind of pioneered the kid-friendly market onto the PlayStation, to my knowledge. If there are any other franchises out there that I accidentally stumbled over because I didn't know, I apologize. I did not know any kid-friendly PlayStation mascots, or many of them, before the late 90s, because that's when I first got a PlayStation. I was born in 92, so give me some slack here. And as for the reason why I'm doing this, instead of a more modern game like Skylanders, you've got no idea how much I hate the Skylanders! I'm trying to keep cold, that's why my face is... yeah. Basically, Skylanders basically kind of pioneered stuff that I don't like about the modern video game market. Especially when it comes to all these collectible items and toys. There's some excuses I can give. Basically, Skylanders was the first game series ever in order to pioneer the use of excess toys, or the kind of peripherals that you see with the figures, to be included with the game. However, Skylanders kind of made it required. So games like that and Disney Infinity kind of irk me on so many levels. Disney Infinity, I can kind of give way. They saw an idea and they tried to capitalize on it. It kind of made a little bit more sense. Later on, Nintendo, Amiibo, they were doing something different. They just created the figures and they wanted fans to unlock more content with their games. And that's fine, I can kind of go with that. But I'm not going to go out of my way, buy an extra figure just to unlock all the content. If you're going to do that, you might as well make DLC for the game. PlayStation didn't go all the way with that, if you didn't notice. Neither did Xbox. They only let it go for those two games, Skylanders and Disney Infinity. Although, recently, LEGO Dimensions is kind of doing the same thing. At least they got an excuse. LEGO Dimensions are already toys. Legos, toys. If you want a toy, you need something that you can play with. Like an action figure, or heck, even a roleplay toy like my Gabba Revolver. If you want to do something like Skylanders, those aren't toys. They're figurines. There's a big difference here, people. If you want me to talk more about that in a rants or ramble video, let me know in the comment section below and I'll give you my full details, why I hate that game so much, and why it ruined Spyro, and pretty much kind of did what it did with the modern video game market. Now, with that aside, I think it's time we get started with the actual part 2. And let's get started. So like I said, welcome back to Let's Play Spyro the Dragon! So, yeah, funny thing, when I went to get right into the game, I completely forgot to say, I realized I forgot to say my last promise from the last episode. Whoops. So, anyway, yeah. I think I should probably explain this for those of you who don't know. If you want to save your game, just step on the platforms where the dragons are. They say that stepping on the platforms, that rescuing a dragon alone will save your progress, but obviously it's not always the case. So for me, I'm just going to get on the platform, speak with this fairy, save my game, and there, game saved. Also, I realized that the camera is really awkward for my situation. I'm normally used to the camera being a lot faster and active compared to this passive view, so I'll show you how to change the camera if you want to do that. For my case, just go to Options, scroll down to Camera, and it says Passive. Basically, this requires you to move the camera yourself, and it moves a lot more slowly. And I know this because they explain it a lot in Spyro 2 and 3. Basically, if you want to play a game like this at a faster pace, and especially if you're trying to speedrun it, never do passive. If you want to do it, you gotta use active mode, and I just switched it by hitting the X button. In this mode, the camera moves a heck of a lot faster. And so with that, there. Tater, get back to your room. Sorry, my baby bro just got out of his bedroom. Anyways, now we can finally get on to our next world. I asked you guys to comment, but as of this recording, there's no one who actually commented. Or at least where to go. So I'm just going to go in the order that the strategy guide will tell you to do. I'm going to go to Stone Hill. Entering Stone Hill, and it always calculates your treasure before giving you your total. Which is good to know. Which is good to know your total. I really like this animation too. It really brings back the old nostalgia. And there's our first enemy here. Funny thing, when I first started playing this game, I was scared of these guys. And I thought that these guys and the Rams were too big and scary for me to take on. Not even with my flame or my charge. I almost thought they were invincible for whatever reason, so I was always scared to come to this stage. But, you know what? It turns out they're a lot easier than you think. You can flame or charge, and no one will be any the wiser. They're pushovers. So anyway, yeah, we get some gems down in here, and then we talk to this guy. Rescued Gavin.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
Yeah. Gavin. That reminds me of somebody else I know. Anyway, we got a chest. Whoa! Whirlwind! Yeah, that's our way to get out of there, folks. Go by Whirlwind. But yeah, if you want to get to that chest and get the treasure in it, unlike some of these others, you're going to need a key. So, you best find it. Also, I know that the Smash ballot ended recently, as of when this video was recorded. So, in case you're wondering who I voted for, is it not obvious? I'm playing as the character I want in Smash. One of my main reasons is because, well, the one game that would be the Smash equivalent, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, they forgot the real All-Star. Even though he did go multi-platform, he kind of helped launch the PlayStation. Spyro, hello! By the way, guys, whoever made PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, if Nintendo doesn't get Spyro into Smash, then get to work on it! Anyways, next dragon, Lindar. Or Linder.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
Yeah, well, I don't run into trouble, but you sure did by calling Nasty ugly, you dope! Sheesh. The flying fin was his problem for calling Nasty ugly. He really shouldn't have done that. And that was the same dragon from the interview, mind you. You may have also noticed a couple dragons in the background of that intro sequence where the two dragons, while they were blurred out, they didn't exactly match the styles of the artisan dragons. They're from a later world. I'll explain later. Now, if you were ever wondering how to get out of a world, and don't worry, this dragon here will explain everything. Rescued Aster.
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya. I already know how that works, Aster. Anyways, yeah, so we jump down here. Whoa, shoot. Darn it, I forgot about that whirlwind there. Well, we'll just hop down this way. Yeah, I'm okay. So now, yeah. There. Got the gems and the key. So we will head down this way gather the gems here. And again, Spyro can't swim, so watch out for that water, people. You really gotta be careful where you go here. And so, why don't I just head to that chest right now and get it over with? There! If I'm right, we've got 200 gems to collect in this world, and 4 dragons. It's been a while, so cut me some slack. Anyway, to speed up the process, I'm gonna be charging most of the time, so expect me to go crazy fast and attack whatever enemies I can. And if Sparks breezes by with the gems, that's why. And those sheep basically poofing out and spitting out butterflies, well, that's how you regain health in this game. Later on, and that dragon that was Gavin, he basically was telling us about Sparks. So basically, if you ever get hit, now it's a little late for me to show how, but if Spyro gets hit, Sparks will change color, and eventually he'll go poof and be gone. So to restore his health, you need to gather up the butterflies that come out of livestock, like sheep and chickens. But no sheep were harmed during the making of this game. Rescued Gildas.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of a jump, and try pressing the triangle button to drop down in mid-flight.
Yeah. That's no joke there. Gliding with the X button at the top of the jump, that's the best way to glide in this game. But the dropping with the triangle button, watch. That dropping is kind of awkward in some cases, and so it's really not much to write home about. But I want to point out something else. You see how the polygons go? You see how things look more detailed up close, and the further away they're really blurred like that? Well, that's the new trick that they developed with this game. They wanted to make the world expansive, but they don't want players to get too far off track. And in order to avoid some program issues with how some players might tend to, how the software might end up bugging out and losing itself. Well, there are images that are faded away entirely, and then in order to save the processing power of the system, they basically programmed it so that the further away an object is, the less detailed it gets, and the closer you are, the more detailed it gets. I really like that aspect. It really shows you how they're really improving with this game. And it shows you, and it's part of the reason why I really like this game. It's one of my faves. I can't state that enough. Spyro the Dragon is one of my favorite video games of all time. Or at least his franchise. Spyro 1 isn't exactly on the top. But if I had to pick any music from any game, Spyro 1 definitely takes that spot. And you probably saw a guy in blue earlier. Well, shoot, where is he? Where is he? Oh, there's the last gems. Well, wait, did I? No, that was Spyro. There he is! He's all the way across there! It's an egg thief! Yeah, dragon eggs are pretty darn important throughout the entirety of the Spyro franchise. This is the first time they've been introduced. They're not as prominent, but they're definitely darn important. So, catch that thief! And up! Hey! These guys are really stubborn sometimes. They really get on people's nerves, and... Well, I didn't mean to roll like that, but... Hey, 1 dragon egg for you. Okay, so now with that, I'm going... Okay. So there we go. There's all that for you. And according to this, we have got everything. And... Save... There. Well, I'm going to leave this episode off right here. This has been great so far. I'm glad you guys were able to listen to some of my occasional rants and rambles, but basically this is a fun game. I really do enjoy this, and I really hope I can continue making these episodes for you guys. So part 2 is going to be up pretty soon. Part 1's probably already up, and I've actually got a couple guys in the works who's trying to help me out with getting some of the thumbnails and the actual ending screens. So, starting with... Tate, close the freezer! Basically, I got a couple guys helping me out working on the thumbnails and the and credit screens. One of them will require me to pay later, but for now, I got someone who's willing to do it for free, and I'm glad he's willing to do it, and he didn't ask for any money, and I'm not forced, and you don't have to, and if you want me to pay you, I'd be glad to. Just expect me to wait till my next paycheck comes in so I can be able to get them in, and it'll be a while before I can get my PayPal account all said and done. If I'm talking too fast, I apologize, because I'm trying to get this thing done as quick as I can, but my bro is kind of getting a little antsy, and I'm gonna have to take it off for a walk in a little bit. But, arigato minasan for joining me for this episode. If you liked it, use your strength to make that like button cry, and have that subscribe button count up its sins. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video!
What?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers? Bad.
The only thing he has to worry about is actually falling into an endless void, a deep of... Dang, that was a little bit more difficult than I would have thought. I gotta always have some endings for these things, and, well, I hope I get it. But, still. Spyro for Smash, get it done. And I mean classic Spyro. ONORE SKYLANDERS!